Welcome to Papyrus Plans. I'm Tasha. Ready to create something beautiful? Let's dive in.
Hello everyone, welcome back. Let's work on my creative journal for the month of October together. So my journal is starting to get a little bit thick, so I've been putting on my journal clip to keep it closed. And really just so I'm trying to keep it, like the elastic keeps it closed, but I'm trying to keep the elastic from overstretching so that when I'm done, the elastic will still, it won't be too loose. So let's go to October. Okay, so for this month, I thought I would do kind of a little peek inside of an artist studio. I thought that would be kind of cool. So I decided to do kind of similar to what I did for September and do a double page cover page. So that's kind of my idea. So I'm gonna do a double cover page here and then do the rest of October all the way through. And this is the last page. Okay, so I think I'm going to do waterfall tabs again since I'm doing the double cover page. And that way, when I turn it, we'll have the waterfall tab. So I'll have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we're gonna do that. And this is an image that I got off of Behance, I believe. And again, as always, I'll always try to link everything that isn't something that I've created myself. The only thing I did with this is I took some of my pops of color, for example, the clear gloss, and I put some on the window. I'm not sure if the camera's picking up on it, but just to kind of make it look like it's glass. So I used some of that here. And then I used some of the pearl on some of the lamp here. Again, just to kind of give it some dimension. And on this side here. And then down here, I used some more of the pearl and then a little bit of the glitter, silver glitter just on the handle, just so it looks like metal. And I was going to do more, but I decided just to make this a little bit more subtle because I have a really cool effect that I did on my waterfall tabs that I'm going to show you in just a second. But we're going to bring this together like this. And again, get as close to the spine as I can without actually touching the threads so that this will be a continuous scene. So that's, I printed that on half letter / A5 sticker paper for that. Now for the waterfall tabs, I had this brilliant idea to do, and originally I was going to do like a collage, and I kind of did something like that, but kind of took it up a level. So I created this collage, so this kind of collage effect for the waterfall tabs, but it looked a little flat to me. So then I thought, well, what if I painted over it? And I was like, but then that's going to make it too wet, and it's going to warp it, and that's not going to work. So I was trying to, brainstorm some different ways to be able to make this the way that I want it. So first thing I did was, again, add some of that clear gloss to the eye, just so, again, it has that 3D realistic effect. Then I took some of my, let me see if I can reach it, my acrylic medium modeling paste, and I took my paint palette and added a little bit to, like 4 or 5 different wells. And then I added some acrylic paint. And on some of them, I actually added some of my, for example, like my pops of color in different shades and mixed it together. And then I very gently went over the top of this. And I kind of followed the pattern there. And if I didn't like the pattern, I kind of recreated it just to give it some texture. So when you touch it, it feels really cool. It has this very tactile experience, similar to gesso, but a little bit rougher in terms of texture. So that way, when I lay these down in the waterfall, it'll be like one continuous collage scene, kind of abstract yet artistic. So I thought it was kind of cool to make it look like you're looking at like a little snippet of like a painting or a mixed media collage, something like that. I thought that would be really neat. So that's the kind of effect that I did that. And again, I'll kind of come closer just so you can see the effect. But I intentionally left, some of the brush strokes so that you could see some of them. And when you touch them, you can feel the texture of the strokes. And some areas I used my finger when I wanted to kind of smudge it and blend it out a little bit more. But for the bulk of this, I used my palette knives. And let me see if I can reach them. So I use my plastic palette knives because they're more flexible than metal, and I wanted to be able to control the acrylic medium modeling paste. So that's what I used. I used a couple of different ones of these for each color, blended it out, and then would just use the angle of the palette knife to kind of make the texture and shape it the way that I wanted to. So that's how I created the effect for these. And again, that's kind of a close-up of what it looks like. And it creates this really interesting effect. Again, it's three-dimensional. When you touch it, you can feel the acrylic medium and the paint, right? And it just gives it, I think, a really neat effect. So I just thought I would try something different. I had an idea. I wanted to, create some dimension, and I wasn't sure how to do it. And I've done similar things with like the pops of color, but I wanted to take it kind of a step further. And so I kind of combined the pops of color with that technique. Okay, so that's how I created those in case you want to try to recreate that for yourself. So that's going to be for the waterfall tabs. And then I did create a few other stickers. So I have some of these. And then this is some leftover paper that I had from, and I can't even remember where I got this from. Retro Style. I think I got this on Amazon if I remember correctly. So if I can find my order, I'll try to link to it. But it's inside a art studio, and this is kind of what the inspiration was for this. And I've used a lot of this already in my mixed media journal I had last year. But I thought I might tear some of this inside, but again, we'll kind of see. I'm not sure if I'll end up doing that. But this one in particular is the main one that I thought I would use because I used up all the other paint palette sheets. And this one, it says art is not just a painting. I might, tear some of that out. So I pulled this out just in case I want to use it. You never know. Might want to pair that with some of this. And then also, I didn't create very many stickers because I thought, you know what? I have all of those Miss Maker Happy Planner sticker sets. And I'm going to grab them over here. And so I thought, you know what? Let's use these because I have the original one. This is from the original sticker pack. And then I also have the latest one that they made, which has a little bit of everything from sewing, knitting, paint. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to maybe use some of those. Watercolors, paint, brushes, inks, things like that. So I think I might use some of this with this. And I also have the giant Mamby Sticks one, but since it's for my journal, I thought this would be a little bit better in terms of sizing. So I pulled that. So I did create some stickers, but not a lot because I want to use probably a lot of the stickers from this. So most of the stickers I made are going to be for the Dutch doors. Again, we'll kind of play it by ear and see how we want to do that. Okay, so first things first, I think we need to work on the cover page. So let's go back to the first page. So that's here. And let's see, I'm going to clip maybe like the corner or something, or maybe like this. Let me get my other ones. I'm going to hold this down just to kind of get an edge started. And actually, let me put it at the bottom here. So I want to start at the top. I think that'll be easier. And I'm gonna cut off the excess down at this edge. So I want to get the bulk of it over here and then round out the corners once it's down. Okay, so let's do that because that's going to be kind of the tricky bit first to get the angle right. And hopefully my hands don't shift at the last moment. Because when it's crooked, that makes it a little bit harder to move. So I'm just going to peel back just a little bit of this, again, just to give me a little bit more control so that if I need to pick it up and kind of re-angle it, I can. And I think I'm going to do this upside down. And actually, you know what? Let me get my cutting mat because, again, just kind of make it a little bit easier to see. And make sure this is oriented in the right direction. This is the top. So I'm going to get as close to the inner spine as I can without actually covering the threads in the middle. So it's going to be a little bit tricky to get that close. But again, I'm going to try my best so that the image can be pretty seamless. Okay, I'll get my craft spatula and take this bottom clip off now. and just kind of slowly peel this back. And hopefully this is well aligned. Let's see. Okay, that's pretty good. I angled it slightly at the bottom, but again, we're not going for perfection here, just trying to get it close enough to work. Just gonna smooth out this bubble. Get my bone folder and kind of smush it down so I don't have to lift up that page. There we go. Okay, that's not bad. Again, I angled it slightly at the bottom. I mean, it's kind of hard to make as you're moving things out of the way to keep your hand in the same position, but that's pretty close. So I'm not mad about that. All right, now let's take the mat and put it here. And I think I'm gonna use my craft knife rather than my scissors and try to follow the edge of the page. Because this inner corner sometimes is kind of hard to cut with scissors. But my craft knife can go all the way up to the edge. Okay, so I just need to cut that little small part that goes around the corner. And I'm not trying to be accurate because I'm going to round the corner, so just to remove any excess so that I can round the corners when I need to. All right, so that's what that side's looking like. Now let's do the same thing, but on this side. So I'm going to move the clip over here. And same thing, I'm gonna initially start out with this at the bottom just so that the page isn't flipping up constantly while I'm trying to put this down. And again, top inner edge, but I'm also gonna try to line it up here. So make sure that this lines up. So peel back the very top part. Maybe about 1 inch. Again, just to make sure I give myself some greater control. And this one I'm going to do kind of toward the side so I can see this edge and this edge, because again, I have to make sure the images match as best they can while lining it up with the top and the side. About right there. And I need to come up just a hair. Put that there just so I can see this edge of the paper a little bit more easily. Okay, I think maybe... I mean, the hardest part is getting that initial angle right. So that's what I'm trying to do. Because it's a lot harder to try to fix it after the fact. I mean, I have done it, but it's difficult. Okay, I think that is about right. I'm going to peel a little bit more just so I can get this down. And now I'm lining up the top edge. Since I got that part. Okay. Now let's remove this clip. Turn it this way. And then get my craft scraper and slowly push it down. And actually, I'm gonna take my pen off the loop so I can have a little bit more control here. And, okay, it's angled slightly too far. I mean, this is the hard part, is getting that initial angle right. Again, I'm trying to come as close as possible so that, I mean, there's going to be a slight gap, but I don't want to be a large one. So I'm just using my hand to kind of force it to stay in line. Because what happens sometimes is this starts to shift as you go down. You see how it's starting to shift slightly? Again, use my hand to bring it over as far as I can. Again, I can't come all the way because that's where the spine is, but as close as I can. Now, let's put the cutting mat here, and let's cut the excess on this side. And I think I'm gonna cut toward me just because I can see it a little bit better. And I'm using my hand to kind of hold this down so I can follow the edge of the page. Again, you can use scissors. Sometimes I do, but I find that this inner edge is sometimes really hard to get with a pair of shears. So lately I've been using my craft knife. And here you do have to be careful. Okay, so I got that edge, which is great. And again, I don't know if I'll use these, but I have them, so I'll keep them. And again, just, let's see, did this edge here, just cut off the excess. And a very small sliver on the back side here. I mean, it's really small. So I'm gonna do my best not to cut the page. So that's a tiny little sliver that I cut off that went past the page. All right, let's take a look. And just use my craft scraper again to kind of take some of the bend out when I was applying it. I mean, that's about as good as you can get. I mean, I might, let's see, I can't use my alcohol markers because that's going to stain the other side of the page. I wonder if I use one of my outliners just to take away some of that white edge. Let's see. It means a little bit darker, but it might work. Trying to see if I have a really pale alcohol marker that's lighter than that one. I don't think I do. I have a lot of grays, but well, this is more of a cool gray. Oh, that might work. If I use, oops. I keep forgetting these are double-sided. If I use really light strokes and I want to use the fine point in, I think it might work. If I do it really quickly, just to kind of take away some of that stark white. Okay, yeah, it didn't go through. Again, I just was kind of trying to go really fast, but let's go in with maybe this outliner. Again, just so it's not quite as noticeable. Ooh, actually, that worked really well. I think that worked better than the alcohol marker. Okay, I'm liking that. All right, let's put that back. Ooh, I love it. Okay, that looks really cool. Okay, now I'm just realizing this side went over slightly. I'm just trying to remove the excess, not making it perfect, but because I'll come back with a corner rounder at the end after I do all my waterfall tabs. All right, so that's what it's looking like, and I'm loving that. I think that came out really well, so that looks great. Okay, now let's work on the waterfall tabs, and let's see. Usually I do those in increments of 3 or 4. Let's see, how many do I do for this one? Trying to see. Okay, I did 3. Okay, just trying to get a sense. I bent that paper back slightly just so I could count the squares to get a sense. Okay, so I did increments of 3. That's usually what I do. Every once in a while I do 4, but okay, I think that'll work. So let's find the last page, just here, and let's make sure I count it out. Okay, yeah, last page I need to get 4 days. Okay. So let's go, I like to work backwards to the front. It just makes more sense to me. And I'm gonna clip this down like that. Okay, and I'm getting my long metal ruler. Again, just because it makes life easier. And let's count out in increments of 3. So, oh wait, no. Last page, do nothing. Almost messed that up. Last page, do nothing. Next to last page, 3. There we go. Whew. Almost. That's why I usually write on the last page, do nothing, so I can remember, and I forgot to do that. Okay, so last page, do nothing. Next page, 3. Okay. Just line it up. I'm using the dot grid as my guide, and then making sure my ruler is on either side of the dot. Again, just so it's even, as best as it can be. And double check that it's 1 page. Okay, so 3. And trim the top off slightly because I felt my hand move a little bit. There we go. Even that up. Okay, now this one will be 6. And this one will be 9. And this one will be 12, and this is the last one. Usually I do the next page, but since I have a double page spread, I'm gonna leave this whole, okay? That moves slightly. See if I can. This one will be slightly off because my thumb moved slightly when I was trying to cut it, which doesn't happen to me often, but it does happen occasionally. So I'm just gonna trim this part just to get rid of that little sliver of paper. So this one's gonna be slightly uneven at the top. Maybe I should make it, I'm gonna take off, instead of 12, I'm gonna do 13. Just to make it even. Get rid of that uneven edge. Do my best. I mean, because this is such a long ruler, sometimes it's hard to hold it down. You gotta apply quite a bit of pressure. There we go. All right, now I have a clean edge. So I did a 4th one there just to take away that weird edge at the top so it'll be even. So 3, 6, 9, 12. No, 0, 3, 6, 9, 13. Okay, that's what I did. Okay. And usually I save like the larger scraps, like these ones, in case I need to use it for something else. It'll match, you know, in here. You never know. All right. Now, let's see. So this is going to be for, and hopefully that doesn't mess this up. It might mess it up slightly that I did that. I might borrow one of these and make one of the tabs on the inside slightly shorter. These are going to be for the inside, and these are going to be for the outer ones that you see from the front. So, okay, yeah. So just make sure I count it right. So let's go to the back, and it goes in reverse. So back, front, okay? And then once they're down, then I'll round the corners, and we'll see if we need to make adjustments on that front tab since I cut off that extra strip. Maybe I should have left it, but that front part was so uneven, I didn't think that I should. But we will see what happens. All right, so I'm gonna line it up from the top because I have extra space at the bottom. That way I'm not losing the design from the top. And I'll do that for each of them so that they all, again, kind of are aligned the same way. So I'm gonna bring it to this far edge on the right and bring it all the way to the edge and all the way down. And just cut off the small amount I have left over. Since this is half letter paper, it's going to be a little bit longer than A5. And again, I'm cutting around the bottom, but I will use a corner rounder just because, I mean, you can use your scissors, but a corner rounder, in my opinion, looks nicer. So that's what I'm gonna do. That way it matches the exact shape of the pages at the end. Okay, next one. Again, I'm working from the back forward, so I'm gonna get the second one from the back. And actually, I might cut off an extra line. Actually, that might work out to my advantage. I might do 4 for each one. Because this you know what? I think I will. So that it's more seamless. And you can see more of this, because I want to see more of that. Let's see. Do my best not to overcut. Just want to cut one more. And it works best if you apply a lot of heavy pressure. And before I move my blade, move my ruler rather, I just want to make sure. Clean that edge up a little bit. My craft knife is very sharp, so be careful when you're using craft knife. Okay, yeah, now let's get this. Again, because I just want to make sure that I can see the bulk of this. You see how that's more seamless now? And I brought it slightly over on the top on purpose just so I can match that side a little bit better. So I'm going to trim the bottom and the top. And again, we'll round the corners at the end. Now, when you fill this, it feels like cardstock because of the acrylic medium that I put on top that I tinted. So it gives it that texture. And if you made this really thick, you could actually sand this down. I intentionally just did light layers because I didn't want to do that. But you could if you wanted to create really thick, heavy layers. Now you see how that looks a little bit better? So I just wanted it to be a little bit more seamless. And I might even could have gone in one more, but let's see how this one looks. I might have to take one off of this one too. Yeah, I think I will. So I'm doing, it's going to end up being increments of 4 instead of 3. Just because I kind of want this to be fairly continuous pattern, but I don't want to have gaps. So if I did 5, it's going to create a gap. So I'm getting as close to that edge as I can without creating a gap. So this one again is going to be one more. So yeah, I think it's going to end up being increments of 4 rather than my original increments of 3. Now, if this is just a regular pattern, it won't matter, but because again, I want it to look continuous, that's why I'm doing this. Okay, so take off that extra layer, okay? That way, again, it gets as close to this one as I can without creating a gap. If I did 5, because I'm looking at the dots here, it's going to create a gap, so that's why I'm not doing 5. Okay. Oh, and I should say, when you're doing this technique, don't wait for it to fully dry to weed the sticker backer sheet off of this, because the same thing as with the pops of color, if you wait for it to fully dry, it will get stuck, okay? Because you're dealing with something that has moisture and is wet, especially because this is acrylic medium. It's going to dry, you know, it's going to harden as it dries. So I would say wait for it to dry maybe 60 to 70% max. You probably could do it at 50%, because my first page, I think I waited maybe like 50 to 60% and I peeled it up, and it peeled up super easy. The second page, I did something else and I came back and I forgot. And when I realized, oh, well, I didn't weed this, I did the second one. And this one, when it was fully dry, I was able to remove it, but it took some serious effort. So just, I'm telling you that so you don't do what I did. So same thing with the pops of color. Weed it before it fully dries, but obviously you wait a little bit because you don't want to, if you do it when it's wet, you're going to smear it and mess up your effect. So it needs to be partially dry, but not fully dry. So that's why I say about 50 to 70%, depending on your risk level. I would say probably 60 to 70% is probably ideal. You probably could do it at 50. Just be mindful. If it's super, super damp, don't do it. But do it while it's damp, but not dry. That way you have a little bit of wiggle room and it's more pliable. Okay. Okay, yeah, I think I'm gonna... Same thing as before. Bring this edge all the way up to the top and the side. And this feels really cool. Like, again, it's a very amazing tactile experience that you don't usually find in your journal, but I just thought it would be kind of neat. I almost wish I did some extra ones so that I could, put it throughout my journal, but I didn't think about it. Ooh, it's coming together. Yeah, I think 5 would have been perfect, but it was going to create a gap, which is why I decided not to do it, because I'd rather it be slightly off versus having a white gap that I didn't have to fill. You know what I mean? Because what would I put in that gap area? I don't know. So I think this is going to be nicer. That's why I removed that extra square to make it as close as possible without creating a gap in between the sticker strips that I created. But I have so many ideas now. I want to make like cards like this. I think that would be cool, really cool. Oh, I love it. Oh, almost put it right beside it. Almost. That's why I like to use this green cutting mat. All right, that is the last one on, oh no, there's a little bit of gap on this one. Why is there a gap on this one? Did I bring it over too far? And let me see if I can readjust this. I think I brought it over slightly too far. I want it just to this edge. Okay. No, this one has a gap, and I don't know why. It shouldn't. Oh, I probably shouldn't have cut. Oh, I had already cut this one. That's what it was. Shoot. I already cut this one, and I cut it again. And I didn't need to. Bummer. Okay, what can I do? You know what? We're going to peel this up. And put it on this sticker backer sheet. If I can get it to uncurl. Don't stick to yourself. Okay, let's do this. Oh, of course, I just ripped it. Okay, I put it on there, and then cut this apart from this. And I think what I'm going to do is, if I can get it as straight as possible, trim off a little bit of this. But again, first I want to make sure it's fairly straight. Okay. And I only need like 1/8 of an inch, so, and just make this one shorter because this is a shorter page anyway, so I can get away with it. So let's try that. Let me go over to my paper cutter real quick and trim this down. It's really hard to trim something this small, but do just enough so that it lines up. Okay. Join this back over here. And again, because it's the same pattern I created, it will give the illusion that it's all the same. Because of the texture, I think it'll be okay. I'm just going to use my bone folder to kind of smooth down the seam. Okay. And that gets rid of that gap without me having to put something else there. And this still matches. And this one will just be shorter, which is fine because this page has less room anyway. So I think that works. So let me put down this piece first that tore. And then join it with this other piece. There we go. Okay. Smooth that down and trim off that little bit that went over. I cut part of the page, but thankfully it was just a small little piece. Might as well cut this little edge that went over. There we go. Okay. Whew, that solved it. Whew, boy, that was tricky at first. Okay, so this is the cover page, and then you turn it, and then you can see it's like you're seeing part of one of the paintings. Okay, so that looks really cool. I love that. Yeah, I almost messed it up because I accidentally cut this one. I forgot I had already trimmed this one down because I had messed up the edge. So this one was already at 4. And so I didn't need to trim that last one. But we made it work. So this one is a little bit shorter than the rest. But again, it's fine because this page is shorter. So when you look at it, it's abstract. But as you turn the pages, you start to see part of the picture and part of the collage. And I love that. I love that when you touch it, it feels like you're touching a painting. So that looks really cool. I'm really pleased with that. Okay. All right. Now let's see. I just realized I didn't create a label for this. So let me look in my Paper Studio book that I use for dating and see if I can find some labels. And also actually bought a new Happy Planner dating. So I think I'll pull both of those and see if I find something that I like best. All right, so this is the new Happy Planner Essential Dates and Numbers sticker book that I bought, and this is the one that I usually use. This is by Agenda 52 Paper Studio. The styles are very limited in this. That's the only thing about it that I don't like, but other than that, I really love. This is a great sticker book, and it's certainly worth the price. Retails for $8.99, and I got 40% off when I bought this. But even at $8.99, it's worth it. I would definitely pay full price for this because, again, I think it's worth it. Let's see. All right, I've used up all of the black Octobers. I've got a gold October. Let's see, what about the second page? Oh, I got this black one. Let's see what these look like in here. So I have it in gold, and then I have this black one. Not sure if I want to use gold foil. See if I can just find, like this in black would be perfect. Okay, I've got the paper sticker. Is that the only ones I have? So I have this in paper. So I have a small one and then a larger one. I like the larger one. I wish it was clear, though. Do I have that in clear? Or are those the only months I have? This has a lot of cool numbers that are stylized in different patterns. Okay, so this is paper, but it's script. Okay, so it looks like that's all. So you get a small dates, a larger one, and then a scripted one, and then one in print. Okay. What do I want to do? I think what I might do is kind of want to use this large one. But I'm going to see if I can find a box large enough for this and maybe put it inside of a box. Because these boxes are a little short. I think that's the only boxes in here. Yeah, okay. All right, let me see. Let's see. Ooh, that might work. Okay, you know what? All right, let me trim off some of the offset on the left and the right. I'll trim off some of the offset on the right and the left so I can fit it inside of this. And then what I'm going to do is cut this box slightly less than half, and then cut off the offset on the outside, and then cut off the excess middle section I don't need. Okay, and I'm going to join these back together. So I think I want to put it down here because I have like that perfect space right there. Or maybe even over here. But then it kind of goes over in that area. So I think I'll put it here. So maybe about right here. So let's put the larger part down first. And that way the white background looks intentional. And actually it brings some black over to this side since I have that over there. So let's do about right here. And then peel off this part. And then join it with this. Again, so it looks continuous. Get my tweezers just so I can line it up. And then get my bone folder and push it down. Ooh, okay, yeah, that looks good. Okay, so I like that. So now we're announcing that this is the start of October in my journal. So that looks good. All right, so I forgot to do that, but we just fixed it. Okay, let's put this back. And I'll keep this out for when I want to date. All right, so now let's go here and do the tabs on the opposite side. So on this side, it's going to be this first one. So now I'm going to work from the front to the back. Bring it to the top and to this far side. Again, I'm coming all the way to the edge without going past it. I'm just pushing it down. And this feels so cool. I mean, it literally is like touching a painting. I mean, I think that is so cool. I just love that effect. And it gives some weight to the ends of the page too, which is kind of cool. Okay, so we have that one. And so now these are going to be the same going this way, but they will have a gap because of this. Okay, because going the opposite direction, it gets bigger. So, but as you look on the page, at least it has the same kind of effect on it. All right, now let's round all the corners. And I always have to check, because I think it's the 1/2 inch rounder, but I always want to use the 1/4 inch. No, it is the 1/4 inch. Okay, so I had it in reverse. That's why I check. Okay, 1/4 inch side, so that's this side. This is the 1/2 inch. So I think I'll do all the tops and then all the bottoms. Make it easier for myself. All right, so let's take a look. All right, so that's the cover page, the 2-page spread for October. And this is what it looks like with all the waterfall tabs together. I think that is so cool. And then as I turn them, okay. And I will say it punched through that acrylic medium pretty well. I was a little worried, but it was able to punch it. So that looks great. Just making sure I didn't miss any. And I didn't. Okay. All right, so that's what it looks like from open after you look at the cover page. And actually, now that I look at it, I don't know if I want to add anything to this, because I mean, this is so cool. I don't think I might not do, well, I mean, I could add one image here and maybe some at the bottom. I mean, I don't know if I want to, though. I mean, that looks so cool. I kind of don't want to mess it up. And I love the way it feels. And I kind of like the fact that it looks like a canvas. You know what? I don't think I will. I created some of these images to go there, but I don't think I want to do it because I just think it looks so cool And it was it's an easy effect to create, but it was a bit time consuming because again, you're painting on top of it, of the sticker paper. But I mean, it looks so amazing. Now, it would be perfect if it was like this, but again, that would require me going in and it would create a bit of a space on each one. So I think this is better to do it this way versus having that extra space in between. So yeah, I think that came up pretty well. So I think I'm gonna leave it there. I think I'm gonna figure out how I want to date it. So let me bring that back in, my sticker books that I had. Okay, so let's see. Might use, I think there's some colorful dates in here. I have these that I think I'll use because that kind of fits with the artistic theme. Just making sure I have at least 5 weeks of them. And I do. Okay, so that will work. So I think I'm gonna use these ones in the different colors because I think it goes with the artist studio theme that I created. Now let's find some numbers that will work with that. Okay, I broke that up. But I do have this full set here. Kind of wish it wasn't. Usually I like foil, but I'm not sure if I want foil for this. Oh, these. What about these? I think that would be perfect. Okay, I think I'm going to use these with these ones. Because I think that is just perfect. It's like the perfect style. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and date this, and then I'll come back and show you what everything looks like. All right, you guys, so this is what everything is looking like after I dated everything. So cover page, and this is the inside. And I think it came together really beautifully. I think all of the colors go really well with the painted sticker strips that I created. So I did my standard 3 days per page, and then for the last page, I did 4 days to fit it in. Again, just so I can make sure that I make it through the end of the year. Okay, so that's what it's looking like. And now we can decorate and have some fun. Okay, so as I said last time, before turning the camera off, I decided not to put anything over here, again, because this is such a cool effect. I think originally I was going to put something over some of this, but the more I thought about it, I just decided that I didn't want to. I really like, again, the texture of this, and I didn't want to take away from that. Because, I mean, this is a piece of, it's like looking at an art canvas by itself. You know, it's like a work of art by itself. So it's like you have the artist studio here, and then you open it up, and then you're seeing part of the artist's work close up. So I really like that effect. So I decided not to, again, to put anything here. And again, this is kind of what it's looking like up close. Okay. All right, so now, again, let's play and figure out what we want to put on each page. So since this side is a little bit bigger, I can get away with a little bit more here. So maybe I'll put this larger sticker there of the, blank canvas. Okay, so let's maybe bring this down over here. Mostly on Friday. And get my craft scraper. I'm going to smooth the design over and then push it into the spine and then smooth it again. There we go. That way the bulk of the design is on this side since I have more space, and that little bit there. And then maybe put maybe a small element on this side, or maybe over here, or maybe even a corner over there. Let's see. Let me look in this sticker book and go to the paint section. Okay, so we've got some of these. And just trying to pull out the ones that have coordinating themes. So we have the paintbrushes, some watercolors, and then some inks. That might be kind of cool. Might put that on another page. Just kind of fan it out so I can see what I have here. Okay. This one's clear. I think I'll try to use a lot of the clear stickers because that will go really well with it. I'll put it in that corner. Like that a little bit better. And then maybe, again, something in this corner over here. I think I'll use maybe one of these paintbrushes. And wonder if it'll stick to this, because this is a little thick. Let me get my bone folder. Okay, that's kind of cool. Okay, it looks like it's staying, so I think that might work. Okay, so that's pretty good. I mean, I might maybe put some paintbrushes just scattered throughout. Maybe one over here. And maybe some smaller ones on that side. I'll stack that one over there. And then maybe create a smaller one over here. I might do green. Yeah, I like that. Okay, so it's subtle, but it just kind of gives it just a little bit of more dimension. And again, because this has foiling on it, it looks like the metal of the paintbrush, which is why I chose that one. I didn't want foiling in the numbers, but I like the fact that it's on the paintbrush. That looks kind of cool. Again, kind of gives it just a little bit more realism. So I think that one's done. Okay, let's move over here. I like that I can still see those. So maybe add some paintbrushes to this side, or maybe some of these. Might add a splatter, because I created some of these splatters. Again, some of this was originally going to be on the Dutch doors, but I opted not to put anything there. Just trim around this a little bit. And I used the pops of color to create this effect here. So I think I might put this in the middle. And get my craft scraper. Just kind of push it in. And then once it gets to the middle, smooth it over. Again, just so it doesn't hinder the pages from turning. There we go. Okay, that looks really cool. I like that. Let's maybe have something over here, or maybe have this hanging like it's hanging from the top. Oh no, this cut weird. Okay, I think I can piece it back together though. So let's see. Let's trim off the top perch. going to come into Friday a little bit. But I think I'll still have enough room to write. Or actually, maybe I'll bring Saturday down a little bit, because usually I don't write too much on the weekend. So I'll probably have more to write on Friday. So I'll scoot Saturday and Sunday down. Just to make sure I have enough room to write on Friday. And that's still plenty of room for me to write on the weekend. Again, I don't usually write a huge amount on the weekend. All right, now let's put this other piece back. I'm gonna piece this back together. Oh, I see what my brother scanning cut. It was trying to cut around the paint. I think that's why I did this. So I'm just going to add this part back and then use my bone folder and just smooth it down. That way it kind of looks like it's hanging from the top there. And I might trim off this excess over here. Again, just to kind of maximize my writing space. But now I have all of that area to write in. And again, for this, I used the pops of color to create that really cool effect. And so I just painted it on top of that. You can see that looks pretty good. So we have that there, and let's see, maybe some paintbrushes or something over here or up there. This one's kind of cool. And for Sunday, I can kind of come over, because again, I'm not usually writing a huge amount on the weekend. Let's see. If I do that, will I like seeing that? Yeah, I don't like, well, you know what I can do? Maybe I cut off those brushes. I think that's what I'll do. There we go. And I'm just going to use my bone folder to smooth it down. Again, because I created a 3D effect with the pops of color. And see if we can put this be coming out over here. Just trim off some of that offset. And just trim off that tiny little sliver that went off at the bottom. Okay, that way we can use part of the brushes on that side. So that looks really cool. I like that. And again, I think I'm gonna add a few brushes over here. So let's see. Maybe these ones up here. And I'll put that one there in the middle where Saturday is. I think that looks kind of cool. And I think this one might be done. Okay, so let's go to the next one. That looks pretty cool. I might come back and add maybe one more small thing, but right now I think that looks pretty good. All right. So we got that splatter there. Maybe I'll do the work bag on this one. And I'll keep it mostly on Saturday. Okay, I love that. So again, just kind of get some of the artist tools here. So maybe have some things going in the middle here. Again, just kind of give it some interest. Okay, that looks cool. So we got the palette there, the bag there. Let's see, maybe some more paint brushes. And again, to make sure it closes, I like to push it in and then push it over. That seems to work well to make sure it stays in place. Ooh, that looks cool. I like that. And then maybe a brush or something down there. So some of these paint tubes, if I can get it. Have that kind of spilled off in the corner over there. Okay, I think I might leave that there. Again, I might come back and add a few more touches, but for now I think that's pretty good. Okay, so let's come over to this one. And let's see. Let's maybe put this other paint splatter. Oh no, okay. This cut weird, but again, I think I can join it back together. Looks like my brother Scan and Cut was trying to cut out all the splatters. I can't seem to get this one. Come on. Okay. I think I'll have it mostly over here so that it's predominantly on Sunday. Since again, I don't usually write a huge amount on the weekend. See if I can piece this back together. It's kind of hard to see. I'm trying to find this edge where this fits in. Right about here. There we go. Okay, right, that looks really cool. Now let's maybe get this work bag down here. Okay, let's see if I can trim off this little bit that went over. There we go. All right, so we have that down. Okay, let's maybe put this other paint palette down. I think I'll put it there. And these are the duplicates of the other ones originally I created for the Dutch doors. So I think I'll use another one of these paint jars. Just trim off some of the offset. We'll have this in between Monday and Tuesday. I'm going to trim off some of the bottom. And then line up with this edge. And then I'll trim off the tiny little bit that goes over of this paintbrush. There we go. Ooh, that looks good. I like that. Okay, and maybe add some brushes down here. Just angle it out like that. Okay, that looks cool. I think I'll put a couple of brushes over here on this side too. Yeah, I like that. I like how that looks. Okay. Trying to decide if I want something in the middle here. Maybe this. Let's see what this looks like. Yeah, I like that. Okay, that looks really good. So I don't think we need anything else over here. Again, I'm trying to avoid this because when I close it, I don't want anything to hinder the view. Okay, so I think that's done. So let's go to this one. And let's see. I have some of these larger paints that I created. And I think I might cut around them and just have them scattered, look like they're falling down. And I didn't. Actually, I kind of wish I added some pops of color to this to give it some sheen. So maybe I'll use some of the ones in here. Let's see. See if I have any more left. Okay, I think that's the only one I have left. Okay, so I just have this sheet. Let me pull up my big Mambi sticks and see what I have. I might want to use some of those. Although I do have this big scene. So I guess I could use that. Let's see, will this fit over here? Let's see if this fits. And cut off the bottom offset of the table. And bring it all the way down. Have this and this. Oh, and I have this ink too. Okay, I think I might have enough. Okay. Okay, I think I might put this over on Saturday because again, on the weekend, I'm not writing much. Just trim off some of the offset on this side. And this I can layer over here because it's not on the right side. Okay, and I can have, let's see, maybe this in the middle here, and maybe in between Wednesday and Thursday. And I think I'll put this bottle of ink and the fountain pen in this little corner over here. So that's kind of small and it doesn't obtrude that area over there. Okay, I like that. It's coming along. Let's see. Maybe these paintbrushes. I don't want to cut off this ribbon, so I think I might put them over here between Tuesday and Wednesday. And just cut off the tiny little bit that goes over. That kind of fills in that space there. And maybe some more brushes. I have this color wheel, but I don't know if I want to use it. Let's see. And it cut weird, but if I use half of it, does that look weird? I don't think I like that. Okay, what about these colored pencils? I might put it in this corner here and just cut off the part that goes over. There we go. Again, so that it's not taking away from that pattern there. Okay, that looks really good. I think I might just add a couple of brushes over here. In this bottom left corner. Yeah, that looks good. I like that. And maybe, let's see. Some more over here. maybe that one there. Okay, I think that's good on this last page. Now let's go back and see if we want to fill in any other areas. Okay, I don't think I'm going to use that. I do have this. This is, I think, my last jar with paintbrushes that I created. That I added the pops of color to so it looks like it's glass. See if we can add this somewhere. I guess I could even add it down here. Yeah, I think I will. Have the space. Okay, so that works. Okay, we already used this and this because these are duplicates, so don't need that. Got these colored pencils, but I don't think I want to use them. And then we have these that I made, but again, I don't think I want to use that. So then those are all the stickers that I made that I want to use. So again, let's see if we want to fill in with some other things. Okay, so this is the last page. Yeah, I think that last page is done. I mean, maybe something over here, if I have it. Oh, I have this, though. Hold on. Okay, we got some of these. So maybe get some more of the paint tubes. Okay, yeah, I like that. I think that kind of rounds that out. Might even add one more in that corner. Just move it over so it looks like it's stacked together. Okay, so I think that's done. Let's look at this one. Let's see. Maybe these watercolors in the corner here. Or kind of want something here, but I mean, I could do that and still have enough room. So let's see what that looks like. I mean, it's not bad. Might add maybe a single paintbrush over there if I have any more left. I think I do. Okay, yeah, I have a couple of them left. Let's get the skinny one. I mean, it's gonna make it harder to write, but I think I like that better. And I have enough room where I can write around that. So I think I'll do that. Okay, so I think that one's done. Let's look at this one. I think that's done too. Let's see. Might add another watercolor over here. kind of like this empty space, maybe because the canvas is there. So what if I did maybe something in this corner just to kind of round out the bottom edge a little bit better? And I'll just trim off the part that goes past it. Yeah, I think that gap there was kind of throwing me, but I kind of like the space here on this one. And again, I think it's because of this blank canvas. It looks like I'm getting ready to paint something, but I haven't started yet. So I like that. So I think that one's done. And we're back at the front. All right, so I'm going to clean up and then we'll see where we are. All right, everyone. So let's take a tour through my October creative journal. All right, so this is the 2-page spread that I created as a cover page announcing October, and I am in love. It kind of sets the scene for being inside of an artist studio, which I really like. And I did kind of play around with the idea of kind of adding some of my acrylic medium over here or like some gesso or something. But I thought it would kind of take away from it, so I decided to keep this subtle. And so really the elements are really on the window. So you have the shine of the window, and I use the clear pops of color there. Again, just so it looks like glass. Use a little bit on this statue here and the little figurine. Again, just to give it a little bit of dimension. And then on the lamp, I added some of the pearlized color, again, to give it some dimension. And added a little bit of glitter to the light bulb, again, so it kind of has a very subtle shimmer. And then on the paint roller here, added some of the pearlized color there. So it's very subtle, but I think that it looks really beautiful. So this is what the cover page is looking like. And then we'll move on to the first inside pages. And I'm in love with these waterfall tabs. I just think it came together really well. I had an idea in my head, and I think I was able to execute it really beautifully. And it came out even better than I was hoping for. So the elements here at the bottom, again, it's like looking inside of an art studio and seeing there are tools that are being used throughout the process of creating a work of art. And here's the next page. And as you keep going, it's like you're peeling away layers of the painting, which I like. I like that idea. And here's the last set of pages. And then I'll do it in reverse. All right, everyone, so that's my creative journal for the month of October. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you paint inside of your journal? Have you ever given that a try? Let me know what you think, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.
That's all for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. Until next time, stay inspired, and thank you for watching.